When Five Nights at Freddy was released back in 2014, the buzz around it was crazy. It was one of those viral games where for months all people mainly talked about and shared gameplay of was of that game. And at that time it was free to play, so there was little to no reason to not try it. So my siblings and I gave it a try. And for some reason that I couldn't decipher, they liked the game and they were interested in actually trying to make it to day 3, day 4, despite how little the gameplay was changing. But yeah, I wasn't as interested in it because to me it felt and kinda played like a Flash game, except instead of 2D graphics, it had rendered CGI. So I was over the game after like the 4th try. Never went back to play it, nor did I keep up with news related to it. Excluding, some of the viral and avoidable news, like how successful the game ended up being and how it managed to get many sequels released. Now it even got a full-length movie made about it, sharing the same title as the game, so Five Nights at Freddy's. So yeah, I want to talk about the movie as a non-fan. By the way, hi, welcome to my channel. One thing I worried about while getting into the movie was that one would need to be familiar with the game story to enjoy the film. And I see all these YouTube channels dedicated to the game, so I don't doubt that the story got a bit more complex since the first game. But I'd say this is indeed one of those movies where you can watch it without knowing anything. The movie does take its time in unveiling important details, and it will eventually explain pretty much everything you need to know. So, briefly, the movie story goes like this. The main character is responsible for taking care of and providing for his only remaining immediate family, his youngest sister. One day he got involved in an incident at his workplace that cost him his job. And because of that, he's unable to find new employment, so he resorted to accepting the only job offer that seemed willing to hire him. That job would be working the night shift as a security at an abandoned restaurant/arcade hybrid named Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. So yet again, the human characters are the main focus in a video game-based movie. However, the main character in the game is the unseen player, so there's that. Also because those human characters were closely connected and relevant to the core story, I didn't feel like they were forced into the story or they were there tagging along solely to be the audience proxy character. But not all the characters are connected to the story due to few of them being just cameos from YouTubers. They played their roles well and were in the movie for a single scene each. Outside of that, the movie didn't indulge in this in-your-face meta references, so thankfully it didn't sink low to goofy, silly territory. It does have a better presented subtle references that I'm sure the fans would appreciate. So for the most part, the events of the story, the tragedies, the supernatural occurrences, etc. were handled with a serious tone. Not too serious to the point of being grim, but serious in a way that it seems like the writers respected the source material. To put it in another way, it doesn't feel like the writers are elbowing you in the ribs to point out how ridiculous they think the premise of the movie is, like some movies do. Another good decision on the writer's part is that the movie mirrors what happens in the first game. Because of that, it's easier to get a grasp of the story and like how everything started. Which is one of the reasons why I like the story, because it made sense, the logic behind it was sound, and I didn't think it got too ridiculous where you have to overlook things to enjoy it. There was only one thing that was kind of pushing it for me. It's who's behind the crimes. The movie explained this, and it's not an unplausible scenario, but I did think it was a bit too extreme that it teeters on the edge of being unbelievable and immersion breaking. Though that is part of the game's lore, so It's not something the movie made up, so yeah, it's not exactly the movie's fault. Anyways, in conclusion, for non-fans, I'd say this is a great, fun to watch and family-friendly movie, and heavy emphasis on the family-friendly parts. It's clearly made for a younger audience. There are no gruesome takedowns, no gushing blood, no bones poking through flesh, nothing like that. It won't scare you, nor make you even slightly bit uncomfortable. For fans, I'd say, from what I can tell, it's a very faithful take on the game. However, I know some animatronics are supposed to be more aggressive than others. In this movie, however, outside of the animatronics' exterior appearances, there's nothing separating them from one another. They all pose the same level of danger and are essentially lumped together as one. Yeah. But yeah, personally, I like this movie. I thought it was easily better than the Sonic movie. You know, the one that for a minute had the human teeth. I really ended up liking the lore behind the characters. I kind of want a follow-up movie, but this was so well made. I kind of have my doubt about them being able to pull it off a second time, you know? So how do you feel about the movie? Do you watch it? Do you intend to watch it? How do you feel about it? Let me know in the comment. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you like it. Bye bye.